Greetings, mortals. I am Natus, one of the rulers of the underworld, or specifically the ruler of manga hell, and today we'll be reacting to the newest chapter of My Academia, chapter 371, titled Together with Shoji. No, my apologies, there's been no chapter reaction in the previous chapter. It's just that the previous chapter was pretty much, again, it was like one of those kind of bored chapters. Nothing all that special happens. Like, I think there's like one character might reference Star Wars, but he appears in this chapter as well. And also, we were a lot of referencing a lot of modern American politics. So, yeah, makes me wonder if there's gonna be any kind of controversies on Twitter. Maybe that's why we had that big video game reference in this chapter, so people wouldn't talk more about that than people complaining about it. Because you know how American Twitter is, right? It's a cesspool filled with nothing but villainy. Not even good villainy. I'm talking the trashy stuff you walk on that's on the floor that we walk over. It's so fucking disgusting. So yeah. Anyways, we have narration saying, as we have the narrator saying, the safety of those in the hospital, as we get like a little shot of that, like buildings between the hospital being completely destroyed, as we have Shoji there with his face reveal. Basically, as we see him, he actually has a lot of scars over his head, over his left side. Like he has like one that looks like it was a sword wound, or two that looks like some sword wound, and some that's like going all over the back. As we have Shoji saying, "Tell me you have a plan, because if not, I won't let this stand." I'm guessing referring to. Tell me you have a plan to get at least the the fucking people who need medical help out, and the doctors. And then we have like Shoji's punch from the last chapter, like sending Spinner a little bit back wavering. Or maybe it's just that Spinner is losing so much of his mind right now that he's actually kind of wavering like, what the hell's going on? As we have Spinner in like very simplistic way to speak, which is a very good contrast between like his first like real interact. Like, all right, remember how chapters back when we first saw Spinner's giant form, as he was like analyzing and having like this very logical, technical like strategy idea for why they would say W was defeated announcement. Well, here we have like this very wonky and key thoughts as Spinner is like, ask if me have plan? Oh, what his problem? Boy hurt me. Again, I'm thinking it was just like, disc into criminal of pain. And then we have Koda turning to Soji, as Koda is like, well, thinking to herself, that sounds like Soji. And then we have, I'm guessing, a hero being there. It's like, check out that kid, all those nasty scars on him. And there's some mutant be like, yeah, but. And then we get like a bunch of the mutants be like, type quirk users there be like, it's just like you told us, Rap. How we gotta obey and steal back her gear, even if it means sacrifice us. Tell us what to do. We know you're true and just. And they're all screaming that to Spinner. I guess they didn't realize Spinner is getting dumber by a second as we have them screaming. As then we have shot of Spinner be like, huh? As he's like slowly becoming dumber and dumber. No, honestly. And Spinner's like, what are these people talking about? I wasn't saying these people even heard what's going on. As there Spinner just saying as his like mouth is drooling as he just says, like with his eyes all wide out, it's like, don't care. He's not talking, just belly. As then we have some mutant there be like, he doesn't care. As then we have this the guy on the Liberation Soldiers, one of the guys who was with that guy who attacked Midnight and sent her to heaven, and the guy who like moved his hood to reveal his face, as he starts like trying to like do that damage control, basically be that those spokespeople that replace Joe Biden, because if you listen to Joe Biden or John Fetterman, you cannot even understand what the heck they are saying half the time. So he's giving us the authentic thought process for what's going on, as he says, indeed, he's saying history is written in blood, meaning such things are unavoidable. Press forward, don't press onward. As this guy's speaking to himself in his head, basically being the handler in this situation, like, that stupid kid and Spinner too. They're making this harder than it needs to be. I mean, to be fair, what you expect? Like Spinner's actions right now have been pretty much like getting decreasingly less and less logical. Then we see like some of the guys who were questioning that a bit there, as they're like, huh? And they're like, yes, basically to continue their strike. And they have Shoji saying, Spinner, you're about to set us back 30 years. More or less, although to be in Spinner's defense, I do not think like while Spinner's kind of like related to this whole storyline, he's in a way not real doesn't really care. Like even in general, I the only thing Spinner really cares in my opinion is hanging out with Shigaraki, and that's even more. I would say this is like in more enforced in this chapter where he just wants to play video games with Shigaraki. And in this state that he's right now, which I'm amazed no one is bringing this up, he really does feel like he's acting dumber and dumber. Like it's not even like that different to realize. Just compare his speech about they're using Defeat Derby to like discourage us to have us lower our wills. But here he's like I'm not even like how do you I'm not sure how this is gonna be done in anime because again like this like one of those it's like written like when it comes to written you can do it you can do it like very sloppily. But here's like shut up. Like it's like one is it's like a small letter, the other's like oh big, there's like a bit size difference. Like you can tell that he's not well. And then we get back to the flashback where Spinner was giving getting a bunch of quirks from Ultron to turn him into Giganto Machia 2.0, I guess. As Spinner has like, well, I guess the remainder of Spinner's thoughts are like, seriously. And if that body bulk doesn't, as then we have Ultron saying, if that body bulk doesn't get the job done, consider using this gift as well as we see like him using one finger and then showing us two fingers, which I guess that's the number of course he gave Spinner, as we also see in the shot next to him, like getting a bunch of like there's fins coming off his skin. Which does make me wonder if this is actually saying how many quirks Spinner has, or if this is just like one of those here are the like we're gonna get slowly reveal what every quirk that All For One gave Spinner, because I'm pretty sure Spinner's gonna become a dragon at this point. I'm just waiting for him to breathe fire. As they have spin-off thing again, just can't care anymore. As they have like scales coming out of Spin, and by the looks of it, these scales coming out of him are actually very painful because we even see blood burgeoning off him. Oh, this is gonna be censored so heavily in the anime. As then we have All For One saying, Scale Mail will grant your power defense and a form befitting a leader. As he says that, Espino's like, not about any of it. Not anymore. As he's been completely shut. As then we get the panel of the century, as we have Shigaraki, I'm guessing before League of Villains, Arc Shigaraki, as he's like, League of Legends? Yeah, I played that one, only on solo mode though. So yeah, like we could all guys assumed, Shigaraki had played the games, and according to this, maybe even played League of Legends. Not together, not together before this, although I could totally can see there being like a panel in a future chapter where we see that those two played League of Legends together as the first time where Shigaraki played it with someone else, so I could see that being referenced soon. But yeah, League of Legends is officially in My Academia. Which we really shouldn't be surprised since, we did have Spinner reference Grand Theft Auto. In fact, it was actually referenced in volume 18 of it when he, trying to get those quick version drugs from All For One. As there we have Spinner like being completely covered in those spikes. As they like I guess the shockwave or something sends Shoji away, or I guess Shiraki or Spinner's fist sends Shoji away, as it even cuts one of Shoji's arms. As we have Spinner saying, just keep moving, as he jumps up and see like this monstrous, more of a dinosaur, honestly, is giving me the impression right now. As he like slams Shoji away with his, his sword, which I don't think he even needs anymore, but still, why not? It's a cool looking sword. and that is the purpose of that sword, to look cool. And then we see that like crash going through the buildings as it sends Soji a bit away. Soji like, oh, as he's like trying to regenerate some of the arms. As we have Korra screaming, Soji! And then we have that advisor be like, breathe in, observe our chosen rep. He shows us how the oppressed and downtrodden must find the courage to strike back. Also, ignore everything he says because half of the things he says is understandable. Do not question the voice, the things that come off his mouth. Just again, like I really am quite curious. I wouldn't be surprised if he does have more quirks. Every time he's gonna use a different quirk, it's gonna even be less communicator. Like when he starts using fire, he won't even talk anymore. He'll just be like a fucking dragon. Which is kind of sad to think about it. Like like I honestly feel like if you had Shigaraki and Spinner just play games together, they would probably do that instead of all this nonsense, well, all this violence. And they have this announcer guy saying, "We are martyrs for the revolution. Blood spilled today will lead to rights for future heteromorphs." As he says that like a preacher, I guess that's because Trump is no longer here. He's gonna have to take that job. As there we have Coda all being pissed off as he says to himself, "That's ridiculous. Of all people, Shoji is." As we have like a bit shaky as we have something's happening to Koda's head. As we have of course saying Shoji is, as we have a bit of a flashback to I guess when they were like talking or something. I'm not sure when this is. I'm guessing it's probably maybe before the war whole thing because I don't see Aoyama anywhere. As then we have Soji like talking to them as he also like reveals like his scars. So I don't know when this is, but he reveals the scars and explaining a few stuff. And they probably asked him what exactly is up with these scars, and then Soji tells them, as we see him being hit and attacked by a couple of people, with you have the basic mob, the ones you see in horror movies, torches and pitchforks and all that nonsense. As we have him being beaten up, as Shoji says, "My parents didn't have arms like mine. We lived in an awful town. They all came out in the force for blood cleansing when I touched someone." Which, from what we could, from what we find out about Shoji, it was probably like an old woman just falling over and him helping her up or something. As then Shoji explains, Koda, Tokuyami, and others who grew up in cities might have read in textbooks about areas of the country where children are still made to bear scars like mine. So he basically says that you guys are more from the more unlikely place to be hurt. Here it was more like allowed kind of things. As then we have Mina reacting to that as she's like, "Screw that! That world's be better off with without those creeps." As then we have Shoji just telling her, "Maybe so, but the disparity remains." As then we have Minata say that, as then he remembers, I think doing the in tournament, as Mina is like, "Oh jeez, I'm pretty sure I called you an octopus once." And then we have Minata crying a bit. It's like, "Sorry, man, I wasn't trying to say you were gross or anything." And so she just tells him, "It's okay, natural that my arms make people think of an octopus." I mean, he literally named himself that, and it does make sense that he'll be chill with it. Like, I mean, when it comes down to it, people when they try to insult someone or give someone a nickname, they always like do something that's, physically characteristic. Like, it's not like anything special, just because you see your arms and you think of octopus. So it makes sense that that would be like something that someone said. So yeah, anyways, then we have Sochi saying in 21, "I went for tentacle as my hero name since Taco is Japanese for octopus." So yeah, like I said. And then Sojo says, "And it's not like I'm unaware of the widespread heroes who look like villains rankings and stuff like that." As he also mentions, like that's a thing, that's public thing, like that's literally a thing. They actually rank heroes by how villain you look like. I mean, I wasn't Gang Walker the top 10 hero, like rank third or something amongst that list. Like the 10th best hero is also like the third best hero who looks like a villain. As then we have Shoujo saying, "I wouldn't want people to tiptoe around the issue for my sake." As then Shoujo saying, But my scars and heteromorphs form are bound to make people wonder, so I wear the mask since I wouldn't want anyone thinking I'm out for revenge, which is again like true. I mean, when you read very well, these are like classic like these scars are a reminder didn't get my revenge. I will only get over it when I get my vengeance. So yeah, it makes sense. Which I guess also why he covers them. Which I do wonder that's what he would say to Nedry when she asked them. Would he be like, "Oh, I just wear it because I have scars and people would probably think I want revenge or something, so I just don't wear it so no one's gonna question it or something." Like I'm not sure if Soja keeps the scar. I think, like I'm not sure if he says, "Oh, I have a scarred face." That's why I wear a mask. But yeah, although I do think we actually did see how Soji looked about his mask already in like one of the volumes, like it was drawn. Not certain which one, but it was on one. But I think that one was about scars. So I do want this like a transition thing, or maybe maybe the scars were supposed to come like later. Like he was showing us how Soji looks like on a mask, but the scars will be added to the story later. Revealed later the reason why to give a bit more of a shock for later. So it was there of Tokuyami telling Soji, that takes strength, which is true. Instead of Shoji telling Tokuyami, I've been through plenty of terrible times that I'll never forget. But as they cut to to a different point flashback, as we see like a river that's like super overflowing with water nearby, as then we see like a little child like drowning, asking, begging for help, like not barely able to speak, and then so it tells him rather than dwell on the bad memories, as he sees that they have Soji, I guess, running towards that child as it's again drowning, as we have Soji like grabbing that child by the hand, as we see him like when he was like even younger than when he got hit and got the scars, like grabbing onto some rocks and then going towards the child and then extending them to the child to like help them get from this river, because I guess the child doesn't have anything that could help, and God help you telling the adults there. Like even if this wasn't the type of village, I wouldn't like even if the village was someone that would blame him more than oh shit, there's a child drowning, we have to go save them. Like it's a child drowning. You got jumping in and saving is the only thing is the first thing you should do. But yeah, we see that Soldier was able to save the child, and the child's like, holding up to her as like crying, as the child's crying, I guess Soldier is comforting this child. Uh, as then we have just saying, I'd rather cling to the single good one related to this body of mine. As we see Soldier, being happy, like he saved a child from being drowned. That's better than any kind of like people who scarred him, basically. It, then we have some kind of reference to previous volumes we have that's saying, as we experienced this warmth during the Calvary battle in volume 4. So yeah, this whole warmth being covered in him is more a continuous thing. As then we have some of the rest of the class jumping into Soji's arms a bit. Personal space people, as so Kamina says, only one good memory, say and so. As then they go there and they all hug, kind of hug. It's kind of like a hug as we see Shima, Kaminari, Mina, Koda, Minata, and Asui there. As we have someone saying, we'll make a million of them together, buddy. You've got us. There will be lots of good memories down the road. I mean, to be fair, there already are, I would say, a lot of good memories with all of you. And there you have Suyo saying from her point, this familiar warmth, which is again that little time box we had previously in that training, in that tournament. As there have someone saying, nice and warm. Soji smiles a bit, it's like, exactly. So yeah. As then we have Koda there, as he's like getting a bit of a teary eye. And Shoji tells everyone, but I know it'll take more than one generation to tear down a wall that stood for over a century. So yeah. And then I've back to present with Koda as his horn became bigger and multiple, as he says. So just as those who became, well, as he's probably remembering Soji's final words to that conversation, it's like, and so just as those who came before have done, I'll keep paying it forward. And then Koda back, got determined. As then we have Koda saying, well, thinking, it'll be the coolest I'll be the coolest hero in the world I've ever seen to generations to come, to give good memories. As you see, Spider like jumping on the buildings, crashing and destroying everything. And so just kind of like doing Spider-Man thing right now. As then we have soldiers screaming, "I was passing at too, and no one the people who hurt us weren't justified. But there's got to be a better way." As we see him remember that woman who comforts Izuku, as she told, remembers what she said. She told him, said to Izuku, "Self-shelter stood me away. No Hatamus allowed," they said. So yeah, which gives more purpose to why that whole thing happened. As there we have Spinner just responding with his way of where he becomes even more like a monster, a dragon, as he says, "Don't care, destroy all." As there we have soldiers saying, "Think about how to make use of that rage. I know you can, cause all got scars we carry." Again, Soji, you are asking someone who only really is doing this all because of a friend, not because he cares about the political message. Like Spinner is soon. I mean, maybe Spinner is gonna have a moment of like one last moment of rationality, where he's like, "I'm not doing this because of the cause. I'm doing this because it will help my friend Shigaraki gain what he desires," or something like that. So yes, anyways, then we have some animals hearing Soji's words and all that since he was screaming them. And then we have that advisor saying, "Were it that easy to bury the hatchet, it wouldn't have come to this." So yeah, as then he's continuing this, and then we have this guy then saying, doing the whole, that whole liberation sign, as he says, "Do you offer a feasible solution? No, only the pathetic cry of your ego. Our hearts are long Our hearts are long since hardened by society, far too hard to be moved by such childish naivete." As he says that, he sees like a bunch of birds behind him as he turns around, as there we see Koda there. I'm not sure if he's there or he's just still moving through the crowd. As Koda says, "Don't you dare mock Soji," as he says that he's like a bunch of horns sticking off his head. Or more like hordes are erupting from Koda's head. I'm not sure. Some people are using caterpillar references here, but I'm not certain exactly for now what's going to happen. So yeah, or maybe it's like a new horn to like have a better communication skill since we see like a sound wave around it. So yeah, anyways, there we have Soji like engulfing his. We got to Soji's battle with Spinner as we see his arms like surrounding one set arm to like I guess make a bigger fist. As we have Spinner looking at it, as we see like he has like skills are so much covering his eyes that he's like just barely small. Like it's got like glasses level of sight. As Spinner just says, "Gross." As we see this shot of like a flashly fused fist from Soji, as then we have Soji saying, "Yeah, this is who I am." As then we see, which actually I think he also might be fusing some of the flash from the other arm into that one giant fist to punch, which I don't know. I really don't think that punch would really like destroy those scales. Like that scale quirk was meant given Spinner specifically for defense. And I don't think All For One would just give some shitty defensive skill quirks. I feel like he would probably give like a very high level skill quirk. Or maybe the bulk up would increase the skill's defensive. Needless to say, I do not see Shoji's this face, no matter how badass it is, seeing this and him doing stuff like this, I don't see how this would like, you know, break through scales and send Spinner down. Like I feel like it would again be like one of those like weird. All right, dude, you're kind of scaling the heels up a bit more than you ever have to. So yeah, this is the end of the chapter. All in all, it's a pretty good Soji chapter. A very hard break. Well, very kind of emotional Soji chapter to give more of a feeling for these characters and all that good stuff. And I do like the whole what we're doing here with Spinner, where he doesn't really care about anything. He's just everyone wants to put all their hopes and everything on him. It's like the poster child. Well, in reality, Spinner just wants to do something for his friend. So yeah, I do wonder if that's gonna be revealed later. Like, Spinner's gonna say, "I do not like." Maybe, again, I'm betting that there's gonna be a moment where Spinner is just gonna say, "I'm doing it for Shigaraki." This casino is just what Ofawa and that those liberation members want to do. I really couldn't care less. Maybe I'm giving Spinner's intelligence right now a bit more credit than he deserves because again, like Spinner, you can see that Spinner's intelligence is going back. Like Spinner was never like the smartest guy. I think it's even mentioned. Even I think I'm not sure if it was that book or someone even said it, but Spinner is not like was not nothing special to intelligence, but he could like. Okay, in terms of advisors, he was the only one who he was one of the few ones who actually felt like or lieutenants in the Panama Division. Like, he like saw the few ones who actually kind of like understood battle tactic. You know how gamers are with a with. Actually, it really makes more sense for League of Legends because it's like one of those games all be able to play. So yeah, again, like it makes sense. So again, Spinner, you can tell Spinner's attacks going down. So I do wonder how long they'll keep up. And again, I don't think Spinner's losing here. I really feel like with all the build up, with everything that we've gotten so far, Spinner is not losing. All I can see is that like maybe Spinner, like maybe they like changed the hammers to allow the hammers to side with the heroes. So when let's say Spinner gets Kyoguri and just puts everyone together for the worst case scenario, you have all of the hammers and all the heroes working together to take down the villains essentially. Maybe it's gonna be something like that. We'll see how that's gonna go. But I feel like Spinner's gonna win this. Like, good move for Shoji, but I do not think we're leading to Shoji winning this. So yeah. Anyways, I hope you like this chapter reaction. I hope you leave your thoughts on this chapter in the comments below. Don't forget to leave a like, subscribe to the channel for more videos in the future. And with that said, I cannot wait to see all of you mortals next time. Goodbye.